everyone, and welcome to another art lesson with me, Mr. Richardson. This activity is for my grade 3 students, and you're going to be doing a little bit of an artist study first of all before you get stuck into doing some artwork. So today's artist is Keith Haring, and he was born in 1958 in the USA. He developed a love of drawing when he was young, where his father taught him how to draw cartoons, but he also got some of his influences by looking at Dr. Seuss books and also Walt Disney cartoons. When he was older, he also went to an art school, but he didn't really enjoy it all that much because he wasn't really interested in wanting to do graphic design and have his art put in galleries and museums that everyone goes to. He eventually, when he was older, he went to another art school and made his way into the underground art scene. So things like doing artwork in underground train stations and in the streets, and became friends with quite a few graffiti artists as well. He also, when he developed his artistic style, so that was drawing, painting, street art, sculpture. He particularly liked doing murals as well, but he also would find unusual ways to exhibit his artwork, such as in dance clubs and in alleyways in the streets. He was made friends with a lot of other well-known artists at the time, particularly Andy Warhol, who was also well known with his style of pop artwork, and he found his passion with doing all of his artwork on the streets. So he loved to keep his artwork style youthful, and he played around a lot with graphic elements and using lots of lines. So using basic human character forms as well. One thing that was really important to him was that he wanted his artwork accessible. He wanted people to be able to have his artwork, to be able to find it, and not just be tucked away into an art gallery somewhere and not be able to afford buying his artwork. So he eventually opened up a shop where he featured a lot of artwork, things like t-shirts and posters that he could sell to the public at affordable prices. So over quite a few years, he would have his own exhibitions in clubs, in little underground art exhibitions as well. He also liked to put his artwork in murals, so he ended up working with many different people to collaborate and paint murals. So Haring's artwork would frequently carry social messages that were close to his heart. He created a mural for the 100th anniversary of the Statue of Liberty, where he actually worked with 900 children who helped create that art piece. And did you know that there is also a Keith Haring art mural right here in Melbourne as well? With over 100 exhibitions over many years, he certainly was very passionate about his artwork, but unfortunately he only lived to the 31 years of age, but he certainly fit a lot of artwork in that particular space of time, and he has become really well known with his graphic and cartoon-like artwork. So that is what we are going to be working with today, is Keith Haring's human figures, like cartoon figures, as our subject today. So all you will need is your iPad to be able to take photos, and we're going to be using the Seesaw app to be able to create some Keith Haring inspired artwork. So have your iPad charged and let's get started. Okay, so you'll open up and post your student work and select drawing, and that will give you a blank template to work with. So the first thing you're going to do is to go to the Shapes tool and select a rectangle, and that way it should have all of the dot points on the corners, the tops and bottoms and the sides. Choose a colour that you would like for the top part. Now it doesn't have to be pink, it can be any colour you want. It can be yellow like Keith Haring or something completely different. Drag it to the corner of your page and then click on the dot points to enlarge it so that it fills up pretty much 2/3 of the space. And that's going to be basically the sky. Now you can click on the little rectangle icon at the top and it will get rid of the tools so you can see how far the page has gone, and then you can click again to edit. You're going to do the same thing again. Select another rectangle, but this time choose a different contrasting colour. So contrasting means it's kind of opposite the colour wheel. So for example, here I've got pink and green, and there you can look on the colour spectrum on the side and see the gap between pink and green. And that's going to form the bottom part, the ground for my picture. You're then going to upload a photo. So if you haven't taken one already, take a photo of you in action. I've already got mine, so here's my photo here. You can use the camera app as well to snap a picture at this point. Resize it, so use the toggles to resize it so it pretty much fills a decent portion of the page. So adjust it as necessary, shift it up so that your head's kind of somewhere between the middle and near the top of the page, and your feet should be touching the ground as well. So you're going to select the texture tool down the bottom and choose a colour that is dark, such as black. And you're going to trace just really close to the outline of your body. So stick fairly close to your legs, rounded feet, around the torso, and then the arms, circular part for the hands, and a big circular part for the head. So really basic outline, and you're just going to keep tracing it with the black all the way around until it meets the back at the start. Then you're going to select the hand tool and select your photo and click the 3 dots to delete it. And then you're left with your black outline of your body in action. You're then going to select the texture tool again. So to be able to select the different widths of your texture, you need to double tap on the texture icon and select a bigger size. Choose a different color again for the inside of your body and then start coloring in. So take your time. It doesn't really matter if you go over the black outline at this stage. You pretty much just want to create a solid color for your action figure that you are going to do. So I know that I'm going pretty carefully at this stage, but it doesn't matter going over the black. You want to create a decent outline and fill it in with your chosen color. So again, you can see the blue is in between the pink and the green on the color scale on the right hand side. So this is all about creating pop art, is that you use colors that aren't necessarily next to each other on the color spectrum, such as yellows and oranges and reds, but they are all very different. You can see them just rounding out the head, because Keith Haring's action figures had a rounded head, as they had rounded hands as well. And you can just modify your colouring as much as you need to so that the body looks right. You can see the foot properly, so I'm rounding out the foot a little bit more to make it a little bit bigger. Same with the hands, until you are happy with it. And then once you have done that, you're going to then change it back to black, and you can make the texture outline a little bit thinner, and you're re-outlining it after you've coloured it in. And that's going to give you great definition between your pop colours. So it's the black, think of the black like a bit of a barrier between the two colours. And I'm going to just trace all the way around again with a slightly thicker pen tool. Try and take your time with outlining as much as possible. And you can do the horizon line between the sky and the land. And then after that, you can then start adding some little action marks. So I've got these 3 lines here which would indicate that my hands and arms are moving and pointing in a certain direction, which Keith Haring had in his artworks. And then we start decorating the ground with some dashed lines. Give it a bit of texture. And then you're going to do similar with your sky as well. So we're going to create some zigzag and L-shaped and dashed lines at the top. It's slightly different to what you've got on the ground there. I'm just going to give it some pattern as well, which is heavily featured in Keith Haring's art pieces. So you can see that I'm just doing some random zigzagging line work to fill in the space, try and leave a little bit of gap in between.
If you're not happy with the outline and you want to make the outline even more bold, you can make the black outline thicker. That's going to make it stand out even more. And just fill up the background with some line work. So remember, you can do whatever you want with your line work. Be creative. Think about your patterns and lines that you can do to make your artwork unique.
So here is my Keith Haring pop art inspired art piece that I did on seesaw drawing tools. So a couple of tips for you. The reason why it's called pop art is the colours pop out from you right in front of your face, but it was also popular because people were really attracted to the graphic design and the bright colours. So think about the colour choice that you're going to be using between the two sections, and also the use of black. So using the pen tools, the different size pen tools to do the patterns on the top and the bottom part. And I found that I had to kind of adjust how thick I wanted to do the outline of my figure there. You can also have, not just have one figure, you could have many figures there, so you can use multiple photos. Just make sure that after you've traced around yourself in the photo, that you delete the photo as well, so it still keeps that background there. I can't wait to see what your Keith Haring inspired art is going to look like. Have fun, and I'll see you next time.